Good morning. I'm Dana Consuelo, a prayer chaplain here, Unity in Lynnwood. And this morning, I'm going to lead you through a meditation to assist in activating your innate power of understanding. This comes in part from the book Divine Audacity by Reverend Linda Martella-Whitsitt. As we prepare for meditation, I invite you to close your outer eyes. I invite you to feel the sacredness within this sanctuary and within yourself. As you breathe in, feel the inspiration of your heart activated by this simple act of breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. Fill your belly with a deep cleansing breath and then release. I invite you to center your awareness above your brow and inward to the front of your brain to locate the physical seat of spiritual understanding. Inhale and exhale intentionally, drawing breath into this area of your brain, expressing logic, mental association, planning, and impulse control. Imagine the light of understanding, precious golden threads throughout your frontal lobes, cleansing, clearing. Now say to yourself silently, I am divine understanding. I am divine understanding. I am divine understanding. I invite you to comprehend your essential, eternal nature as we pause in this time of stillness. Saying again to yourself, I am divine understanding. This is my spiritual name and nature. I am divine understanding. This is my spiritual name and nature. I am.
As you begin to come out of the stillness, call forth from within your realization ability. Be at ease, knowing flashes may come as you arise from the silence. By our power of understanding, we learn from our life. By the power of understanding, we learn from the one mind, through which we learn eternal truths. As this sacred time comes to a close, we remain open, receptive, and thankful for the movement of the Holy Spirit within us. We welcome our church family and those that are new to our celebratory service. We know that divine grace greets and enfolds everyone here today, both inside the sanctuary and virtually. We bless and are grateful for every single person serving today, be they ushers, greeters, hospitality, chaplains, or audio crew. We give a hearty thanks for the blessings of the spoken word through Reverend Richard and the inspiration of the music team led by Matthew. And so it is. Amen.
used to feel so lost and alone in a world that felt so cold. But then I found a place to call my own, and now I feel like I belong. I am loved and I am welcomed in this place that feels like my home. I am free to be myself and love who I am, and I never have to feel alone. I used to hide behind a mask, afraid to show the real me. But now I know that I am more than enough, and I can be who I want to be. I am loved and I am welcome in this place that feels like my home. I am free to be myself and love who I am, and I never have to feel alone.
November is my first anniversary of being a welcome host. I'd like to celebrate by reading the first prayer, and a big thank you to Dr. Richard. If you'd like to close your eyes, please do, and let your body relax in this moment. What a beautiful fall morning we're having. The leaves are turning from green to vibrant red, yellow, and orange. The air is cool, clear, and crisp. Fall symbolizes a new beginning and a fresh start. Take time to observe all the nature around you this time of year. We give thanks to God who has made all this possible. There is one life, there is one source by the name we choose to call it. There is one ever-expressing, unfolding, emanating as its creation, as you, as me, as us, and all. We are all beautiful creations of God. May our prayer today leave us knowing that we are brothers and sisters, and that we are members bound together in the family of life, and that this family of life is held in sufficiency. You are enough, in equilibrium, in balance, in harmony by a God in harmony, by a God who loves us just that deeply. Divine love lives within all of us and in the beauty of nature, and so it is.
It's amazing what love can do. It can heal the broken parts of you. And when you find that place to belong, you'll know that you were loved all along. I am loved and I am welcome in this place that feels like my home. I am free to be myself and love who I am, and I never have to feel alone. So if you're feeling lost and alone, just know that you're not on your own. There's a place where you can belong, and you'll be loved all along. Good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. It's great to see you. The sun may not be shining, but I would say we're shining brightly in here, right? If you will stand as you are able and greet one another. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
I'm glad you made it here. And I made up a little jingle for this time change. Fall back, falling leaves, come to church, and you'll be pleased. I'm Frances Johnson, your welcome host. It's wonderful to see you in the sanctuary, and hello to our online family. You may be new, or you've been coming here for years. Unity in Lynnwood wants you to know that our church will not try to convert you from one religion to another. You may be Catholic, Buddhist, Baha'i, Muslim, Jewish, Lutheran, or Methodist, like I was. Or you may have no religious affiliation. We embrace you. We are inclusive, empathetic, and accepting of all races, genders, all orientations, and lifestyles. We love who you love. Unity in Lynnwood is friendly and welcoming. Every time I walk into this beautiful church, I think I'm so loved. And I know every time I'm up here, I say it every time, and I mean it. And I'm going to continue to say it. It's always special to have our people reaching out to say hello, embrace you, and lift you up. Love, joy, happiness, and fellowship flow through our church. I'm glad that we're all a part of this community. Welcome.
She sits alone in a corner of the lunchroom. They call her names as they walk by. She acts like she doesn't care, but there's so much pain in there. She holds it back so they don't see her cry. Could we be kinder, a little blinder to the differences that get in our way? 'Cause when we're kinder, that's a reminder that in God's eyes we're really all the same. He's the one nobody wants on their team, 'cause he's so different from the rest. And they tease him every day, they call him freak, they call him gay. Do they feel more by making him feel less? Could we be kinder, a little blinder to the differences that get in our way? 'Cause when we're kinder, that's a reminder that in God's eyes we're really all the same. An open heart and no open hand, that's where it starts. Let's take a stand and let's be kinder, a little blinder to the differences that get in our way. 'Cause when we're kinder, that's a reminder that in God's eyes we're really all the same. We're really all the same. Could we be kinder?
Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I asked Matthew Wilson to do that song for you this morning. In 18 minutes and 49 seconds, you will understand why. I promise. I'm so happy to see you. I am so happy to see you. As I like to say, it is the honor of a lifetime. It is certainly the joy of a week to yet again, as I like to say, bask in the noble depths of you. Good morning. Good morning. So here's the deal. If, on the rare occasion that I say good morning, while I need not manipulate or coerce you, what I would do is empower you. That if you feel a welling up of good morning within you, that you feel free to let it fly. So we practice this, that you might, in a sense, try it on by my saying, good morning.
Good morning.
The same applies to a moment of laughter or the desire to clap along. You are invited to be the fullness of yourself at Unity in Lynnwood, and you will be embraced for that. If you're a member of our virtual sanctuary this morning, we would ask you, already we have many, we would ask you to identify your geography, to offer a first name, Dallery and Mukilteo, Pascaline and Nairobi, Ursula, Tom and Trish, Dale, CJ. If you're a member of our physical sanctuary this morning and you are willing to join me in welcoming the members of our virtual sanctuary, I would ask you to turn to this camera. The fringe benefit being you get to wave at Fran this morning. You get to wave at Fran and repeat after me, hey you.
Hey you.
We see you.
We see you.
We see a high and noble truth of you.
We see a high and noble truth of you.
We We see the infinite potential of you. We stand strong for you. Welcome you. Welcome you. And welcome you. Well done. Today we have a flower dedication. What a joy it is when we get to celebrate a 66th wedding anniversary. Today's flowers are dedicated to Tom and Trish Saxon. Will you celebrate their love together this morning? Oh my goodness, you are a talented bunch. I received a poem a couple weeks ago, and I asked the author if he would be so gracious as to share the poem with us. It speaks to our themes of courage. It speaks to our themes of autumn. It spoke to our theme of Halloween, but that's already gone. That's already gone. I let that one slip. Would you join me in... Tell me somebody else heard that. Okay, good. Whew. Whew. I'm glad that wasn't just mine. Would you join me in issuing a Unity in Lynnwood brand of welcome to the courageous soul who will offer his words this morning? His name is Dr. John Jessen.
Oh, yeah. 'Tis the season when we are treated to the orb spider's most magnificent, seemingly impossible display. We'll start again. 'Tis the season when we are treated to the orb spider's most magnificent, seemingly impossible display of supple strength and resilience. Her wispy web glistens with the morning dew, a fearless display of acceptance of essential vulnerability, founded upon her unwavering faith and her inherent ability to rebuild and persevere, certain of her reward. The spider's lesson. Are the lunching spider and the fruit-filled fly fulfilled as the spider taps the well of life and not a drop is spilled? But there is no vengeance in the spider's bite, only a grasp of love for life. And as the spider spins her lacy web, silver strands of faith before us spread. In seeing the potential of the pattern that she shows, the tender trap of love becomes ours to throw. Round and round, and on we go. But if by chance I should pass and break it, she will not complain. She'll get to work. She'll eat it and start it all again. Such is ours to do.
Thank you, Dr. John Jessen. I hope this is an idea you can embrace. The idea is practical spirituality. Practical spirituality, something that has relevance, meaning, applicability to the lives we lead. And I hope this idea is equally appealing, welcoming community. Welcoming community, not as a pleasant platitude, but as a reflection of the essential nature of being here as human beings. This mission statement, then, when we assemble these four words, it reads as follows: practical spirituality, welcoming community. Short words that offer deep implications. And yet it is every Sunday that I like to support this short mission statement with one of the sentences we developed in conversation with each other and with your Board of Trustees beginning in late 2014. Today I offer the second of those 6 sentences. And it reads as follows: we seek to discover and share spiritual practices which are repeatable and reliable, and to infuse these spiritual practices into every area of our daily living. Take the words of invocation in the manner best suited to you. You are welcome to listen. You're welcome to read along, whether quietly or exuberantly. Yet again, I say welcome to unity. You kind of get to do it your way. They read as follows: though imaged and named variously, there is a singular and eternal ground of being from which all life emanates and into which all life retreats. We choose to call this ground of being God. By extension, we come to understand that we are spiritual in nature, human in expression, and limitless in potential. We gather today to remember such truths, to celebrate our unity, and to honor all life. So it went down something like this. I have shared with you of your history before. Please indulge me as I seek to do so again. It went down something like this, about 5 billion years ago. Now, I can't say whether it was daylight savings time or not, so it might be 5 billion years ago and an hour. It's before you arrived. This thing happened. And I say this thing happened because I want us to get that it was one singular, identifiable event, not several generalized, abstract events. About 5 billion years ago, this thing happened. The conditions in our local cosmos somehow coalesced and converged and combined into such a harmony that life emerged. And I say life emerged because I don't really believe that life began. It might have looked like life began from our limited perspective. After all, there was nothing, and then there was something. So it might have looked like life began. However, I say life emerged because I believe the life principle existed before our cosmos exploded into light, and the life principle will continue to exist after our cosmos implodes into darkness, and that will be after you are long gone. I didn't mean to unsettle anyone with that whole implodes into darkness thing. If you have vacation plans, continue with your vacation plans. Please continue to pay your credit card bills. This is one of the many beautiful contributions of the unity paradigm. While birth and death might look like beginnings and endings from our limited perspective, a broader perspective reveals them to be more like entrances and exits for that life principle which knows neither beginnings nor endings. So about 5 billion years ago, life emerged. And life emerged as a singularity. There's the point. Life emerged as a singularity we might call a prokaryote. Now think of this prokaryote as a bacterium with a hard shell. Now the problem with this hard shell was predictable. Our prokaryote's ability to grow had limits. And because of this limitation, evolution seemed to pause, at which point life had to change its tactics. And what happened is that these bacteria with hard shells began to organize into collaborative communities which expanded awareness, increased intelligence, and from that point, evolution seemed to lurch forward again. Well, over time, these bacterial communities gave rise to a new cell. It was called a protozoan. You'll recall one such protozoan from your 6th grade science class with Mr. Jeffries. You called it an amoeba. Now, while it's tempting to think of this amoeba as a new organism, it's better considered as an evolved form of bacterial community. Where could he possibly be going with this today? Now, the problem with these protozoans was that they resembled water balloons. And as all of us know, all water balloons are fated to the same sad ending. That might also be from Mr. Jeffries' 6th grade science class, but that's a different story for a different Sunday. So the problem was that these protozoans' membranes could stretch only to a point before they would rupture, of course, killing that cell. And because of this limitation, evolution seemed to pause, at which point life had to change its tactics. And what happened is that these little water balloons began to reorganize into collaborative communities which, well, expanded awareness, increased intelligence, and from that point, evolution seemed to lurch forward again. Now, in the earliest of these communities, cells started by performing the same jobs, but ultimately they developed specialized functions which led to the creation of differentiated jobs and skills, which gave rise to even grander communal organizations we would come to know as dandelion and dog, dolphin, Danny DeVito. So while it's not inaccurate to say that a human being appears to be a single entity, it's more accurate to say that each of us is, in fact, an advanced community of some 50 trillion specialized cells. Now, like our protozoan ancestors, humans started by performing the same hunter-gatherer activities, ultimately developing specialized functions which led to the creation of differentiated jobs and skills, which gave rise to even grander communal organizations we would come to know as tribes, cities, states, nations, all, in a sense, multicellular organizations of sorts. Now, we might pause. We might pause to glean some hope from this history. After all, if life's pattern over the last 5 billion years, give or take an hour, is to hit a wall, to get stuck, to reorganize into greater collaboration, and then to lurch forward, well, maybe beneath the messy surface of today's world, we're really just reorganizing for greater collaboration and readying to lurch forward. So maybe we can pause and glean some hope from this brief history. How hopeful is it that in these days of fragmentation and factitiousness that we're really just reorganizing? We're reorganizing. We're readying to lurch forward into a higher way of being. How hopeful is that? So we might pause to glean that hope. But that hope is not really my point today. My point is that while the author of our fall series would suggest that we are hardwired for connection by virtue of our psychology, I would suggest we are hardwired for connection by virtue of our history. We are hardwired for connection because somewhere deep in our psyches, we remember that we have a common grandmother, a gooey, hard-shelled grandmother who emerged from the smoke of a new planet some 5 billion years ago. We are hardwired for connection because somewhere deep in our psyches, lurking beneath our countless identities such as culture, ethnicity, gender, religion, we know that it's something of a deep and abiding connection that best defines us as members within the family of life. So when we in unity say, we are one, as we often do, when we in unity say we are one, we are not espousing some feel-good, airy-fairy, new thought platitude. We are invoking a shared memory as ancient as time itself. The author of our fall text, Brené Brown, speaks into this by writing, "Spirituality emerged as a guidepost, not religiosity, but the deeply held belief that we are inextricably connected to one another by a force greater than ourselves." We are inextricably connected to one another by a force greater than ourselves. I might suggest that we are inextricably connected to one another as siblings in life's unfolding longing to know itself. And because we gather on mornings such as this, I might language it differently. I might say we are inextricably connected in God. We are inextricably connected in God. This strikes a similar tone to the words of the mythological patriarch Moses when asked to define God, when asked to define ultimate reality, and he said, I am, or I am that I am, I will be what I will be. I amness, isness, beingness, unfoldingness. We are inextricably connected to one another as siblings in life's unfolding longing to know itself. We are inextricably connected one to the other in God. Now, whether you best hear this as a conversation about psychology, physiology, history, spirituality, or all of the above, really the result is the same. We are hardwired for connection because connection is our natural state. And because if connection is our natural state, disconnection is a source of pain. How we doing? Boy, that was a long road to take to arrive at that particular juncture. At which point I suggest that we look at today's world and we ask, how does today's world support connection? And how does today's world encourage disconnection? So I have to say, I am not one of those people who thinks that all social media is inherently bad. It's like so many trinkets on the playing field of a human incarnation. It becomes good or bad based upon the consciousness that wields it. Use it as a tool, and it becomes a tool. Use it as a weapon, and it becomes a weapon. I look at the members of our virtual audience on mornings such as this, and I can say with deep sincerity that I feel authentic connection with Deb and with Pascaline. I can say with sincerity that I share your joys, that I share your pains. I can say with sincerity that when I pray with you, it is no less meaningful than when I pray with these people sitting in these chairs. So I'm not one of those people who thinks that all social media is inherently bad. At the same time, I believe social media has afforded us an unprecedented opportunity to disconnect. It was the Austrian philosopher Martin Buber who set forth a model in which the I-it relationship is contrasted with the I-thou relationship. Now, in the I-it relationship, we stop seeing individuals with families and longings and histories and futures, and we start seeing servers and rude drivers and political parties and customer service representatives. We stop seeing real people and we start seeing generic labels. In the I-it paradigm, others are dehumanized, and our interactions are characterized by what we might gain. Our relationships become transactional. In the I-thou relationship, we stop seeing servers and rude drivers and political parties and customer service representatives, and we start seeing individuals with families and longings and histories and futures. We stop seeing generic labels and we start seeing real people. In the I-thou paradigm, others are rehumanized. And our interactions are characterized by how we might connect. Our relationships become relational. Social media has afforded us an unprecedented opportunity to establish the I-it relationship. How easy is it to post that blistering review without the inconvenience of having to face that hard-working entrepreneur who will continue working for her family nonetheless? How easy is it to post that unfounded accusation without the inconvenience of having to face the leader who will continue serving his people nonetheless? I have to admit to you, I'm no Danny DeVito. Maybe you can tell that simply by looking. I'm no Danny DeVito, I admit it. But at the same time, I have some inkling of life as a public figure. I have tasted the it end of the I-it relationship, and it is a bitter taste indeed. It occurred to me one evening this past week that as fun as it is to jump on that bandwagon and to paste my laughing emoji on every clever meme about Taylor Swift or Kim Kardashian, or God knows any number of politicians. After all, they'll never see it, is what the mind does. It occurred to me one evening that for as fun as that might be, there I was, assigning others to the it end of the I-it relationship, dehumanizing individuals having families and longings and histories and futures. It was in that sweet moment that I decided, well, to stop dehumanizing individuals simply because it's easy to see them as superstars or celebrities or leaders. I no longer post the laughing emoji on every clever meme about Taylor Swift or Kim Kardashian. With all good intentions, communities such as ours have encouraged people into the practice of saying namaste. You'll see this in yoga classes as well. It's usually accompanied by a bow of sorts, and it's been described as a Hindu practice in which the highest that's within me acknowledges the highest that's within you. The highest that's within me acknowledges the highest that's within you. And of course, it is a beautiful practice. It speaks to the I-thou relationship in high form. The highest within me acknowledges the highest that's within you. And yet I would like to suggest this morning that if you find yourself saying namaste and bowing as you exit the sanctuary, only to drive across the street for brunch, to stare at your phone instead of looking up long enough to get your server's name, you haven't yet quite mastered the namaste consciousness. Now, how might I know when I'm slipping from the I-thou into the I-it? Well, let me give you a few pointers this morning. Let me give you a few pointers. If you catch yourself starting any conversation, this can be an outer conversation, it can be an inner conversation. If you catch yourself starting any conversation with a label, you might be slipping. You know, these men today are, well, that could be a yellow flag. You know, these gays, these old people, these Christians, let that be a yellow flag. You know, those people over there, and isn't it always some form of, you know, those people over there? Allow that to be a yellow flag. I might be slipping. The author goes on to suggest that this dynamic is central to the rates of struggle among returning veterans, those who have been required to dehumanize in order to fulfill their responsibilities as warriors have to be embraced as humans upon their return, and we have not always done such a good job at embracing them as humans. The power of this primal connection is that wars are fought and empires are toppled from the dehumanization of people. And the hope of this primal connection is that while we tend to think the healing of the world will start when humanity has finally agreed on ideological positions and healed religious fractures, doesn't really work that way. The healing of the world will start when you have finally learned to look up long enough to get your server's name. The healing of the world will start when you finally become daring enough to extend a hand in friendship. When you finally become courageous enough to break bread with someone, dare I say it, different from you. The hope of this primal connection is that while we tend to think we will get better at human decency as we heal ancient wounds, in truth, we will heal ancient wounds as we get better at human decency. And human decency is something every person in this room can aspire to accomplish. Maybe this is why Buber went on to say, and I quote, "When two people relate to each other authentically and humanely," may I just say that again? Because you know I'm going to ask you to do this, right? When two people relate to each other authentically and humanely, God is the electricity that surges between them. Isn't that a great quote? So when we lift our voices to sing Unity's classic closing song, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me," we're not offering some hopeful affirmation. We are offering both an acknowledgement and a commitment to the ways of all meaningful progress. Take a deep breath, please. Let's close the outer eyes. And because the mind will do what the mind will do, let's give it a job again this week. Mind of mine, follow the breath. Assign that mind a task. Follow the breath. And allow that process to bring the physicality of you into a slowing. into a relaxing, into a softening. Continuing just to follow the breath. Delighting in the sounds of life. In a sense, we prepare the physicality of us to be as available as possible for that highest that is within us, by whatever name we choose to call it. And into that prepared physicality, we simply consider connection is my natural state. We allow that idea to take us upon whatever journeys it may. Connection is my natural state. And if you're like me, that journey may take us to a realization where I have resisted my natural state. At which point we simply consider. We need neither accept nor reject, but we consider, what might it mean to me today? To return to my natural state of connection. If you're like me, you might experience something of a gratitude. Let's allow that gratitude to have its way with us. As we near the end of this portion of time together and prepare to re-enter that outer world.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator spider, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
By saying, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
Thank you. That was beautiful. No one has ever become poor by giving. A quote by Anne Frank. Unity in Lynnwood is grateful for all of your gifts and tithes that are being given today to support our church. We offer opportunities to practice giving and receiving that we might cooperate with the reciprocal nature of the spiritual universe. In other words, while your giving matters to us, we suggest your giving matter to you as well. Electronic giving options will appear on your screen. For those choosing to give a physical gift, the ushers will pass baskets. If you would like to have information about UIL's programs of regular giving, planned giving, or legacy giving, please grab a Giver's Circle brochure or write Dr. Richard directly. For those already participating, we extend a special thanks. Please join me as we say our affirmation as it appears on screen. I give freely and fearlessly, fulfilling the law of giving and receiving.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
We'd like to extend a warm welcome to anyone that is here visiting for the first time. Please raise your hand and we will clap for you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here today. We'd like to give you a special undated version of the Daily Word as a gift. The daily word is filled with positive, uplifting messages and affirmations. It's a great way to start your day. Visit Kim in the Soul Things Books and Gift Store after service, and she will give you a copy. You are also invited to come to the Welcome and Information Center located in the back of the sanctuary. I will be there to answer any questions you may have and give you any booklets or community information to look at and take home. I look forward to seeing you. And please take a look at the informational cards in the seat backs in front of you. There's all kinds of things, newcomers information, stay in touch, prayer requests, credit card giving, and next time you can take some notes. And now for our invitations. Please register for all events by visiting the calendar page at www.unityinlynnwood.org. If you have a compliment or a comment, please write "We Listen" at unityinlynnwood.org. We're here for you. Please consider the offerings of UIL's small group ministry as they appear on your screen. As a reminder, Daring Greatly opt-in and opt-out groups include Sundays following services, Mondays at 9 a.m., and Wednesdays at noon. For those participating virtually, please register online. For the Sunday group, look for the reserved table and engage with others over hospitality. All tables will have discussion questions. The first Sunday of the month is Newcomer Sunday. Newcomers are invited to a potluck immediately following service, and it's always good. All are welcome. Following lunch, UIL's Indigenous Heritage Committee invites you on a field trip to the High Bulb Cultural Center on the Tulalip Reservation in Marysville. We'll carpool to their 50-acre natural history preserve, galleries of art and artifacts, and replica longhouse to appreciate the reverent ways of caring for Mother Earth of those who lived here 8,000 to 10,000 years before European settlers. The cost of the ticket will be $6 per person. People going today on the field trip meet at the northwest corner of the Friendship Hall at 1 o'clock. And lastly, outdoor cleanup party, Saturday, November 11th at 9 a.m. Please bring work gloves. Lunch will be available. Thank you for serving. Thanksgiving Eve service and pie reception, yummy. Wednesday, November 22nd at 7 p.m. We'll conclude our fall series as we launch our holidays. Bring a favorite pie, share if you like, you know you're going to. UIL will provide traditional toppings. Finally, please welcome Gall Piper to the platform.
Hi. As part of Unity in Lynnwood's community outreach effort, I want to invite you to a clothing drive we're having this month. Clothes will go to the Lynnwood Trinity Lutheran Clothing Bank. They do homeless outreach every Saturday where they provide a hot meal, food, community resources, and basic medical care. And that's how I've been involved with Lynnwood Trinity Lutheran and the Hygiene Center through Mercy Watch, which is an organization that does outreach. So what's needed? We have a flyer in the back. So we're looking for gently used and clean warm clothes, jeans, coats, jackets, sweaters, and new packages of underwear and socks. Containers are in the fellowship hall. Actually, I started the collection today. I didn't wait till while I'm gone. So, I'll be delivering all the clothes on Saturday, December 2nd at 8:30 in the morning. And I'd invite you, if you're at all interested in getting to know some of our homeless neighbors or learning more about Mercy Watch Outreach, to join me at Trinity Lutheran. So my email is on the list. And lastly, I just want to thank all of you. I leave this Thursday for my 31st medical mission. I'm going to Honduras, and many, many, many of you have loved and supported me for the several months as I've gotten ready. I've been getting ready for months. So I thank you. That sense of connection and love and courage I have felt from you, I carry it with me. I carry you with me, and it makes me brave. I ask that you continue to pray for the team's safety. There's 15 people coming from the United States. And the prayer of, may the people, we'll see 2,000 or 3,000 people in 5 days, that the people that most need us see us. So a lot of times people say, oh, I can never do that. Well, yes, you can pray for us. Light a candle. I'll be back on the afternoon of November 19th, and just thank you. Thank you, Richard, and thank you, Matthew.
And my understanding is that Gall will tell us about her Honduras trip on a Sunday afternoon in January, so we look forward to that. If you would like to pray with someone following the conclusion of this time together, you are welcome to find a trained prayer chaplain that you might identify these people by face. May I ask those chaplains in service to us today to self-identify by raising a hand or standing, please? Beautiful. And always, if you're a member of our virtual sanctuary, start the process by writing prayer@unityinlynnwood.org. Include a working telephone number and expect a call within the next couple hours. The chaplains also offer today what they call a divine wholeness session. It is a powerful, wordless prayer ritual that occurs in the family room, the glass room, immediately following this service as well. Did I get that correct? Thank you. I love what I do for a living. I love it. The privilege of being with you is profound. As I have shared so many times before, I must be cautious about what I choose to say on a Sunday morning, because that which I choose to say on a Sunday morning has a unique way of manifesting in my lived experience. Do a talk on forgiveness and do a talk on relational harmony and It's as if the universe says, yeah, maybe a little extra work on that for you. Today I'm in the drive-thru at Starbucks, as I have been every Sunday morning since 1962. And I take my cup, and the lid was not affixed, and indeed coffee went just like everywhere. I mean, I smell of coffee within 10 feet of you. And man, how quickly did that individual shift from being a real person with families and dreams and histories, and she became that person at the drive-thru window. So there, I got an opportunity to practice. How do we stay? Life will tempt us into the I-it. How do we practice the mindfulness to return to the I-thou, to return to the I thou, and oh, the universe being as generous as it is with me. Practice, you. Practice. I understand you've brought beautiful foods today. Thank you for supporting Newcomers Sunday. As Francis said, there is a table specifically reserved for those people who desire to chat about the discussion questions as set forth in Brene Brown's study guide. The path from disconnection to connection requires vulnerability. There is the teaching idea. Her questions this week have to do with how we have refused to be vulnerable and how we're willing to be courageous instead. On the path from disconnection to connection. Sounds like a good question, don't you think? Take a deep breath. Let's close with the same discipline with which we began. We call it prayer. I don't care what you call it. I don't care what you call it. It is a practice by which we seek to infuse ourselves and to live from the highest possible consciousness we can conjure. And the goal, of course, is not that we achieve that sense and then abandon it when we open the eyes, but that we achieve it. And then we carry it forth. We carry it forth into our relationships, into our choices, into the complex lives we lead. Said another way, prayer is a means to an end. It is not the end itself. So we consider. There is a wisdom. There is a wisdom that is having its way as me today. It is the same wisdom that's been having its way with my ancestors for well over 5 billion years now. The wisdom knows what it's doing. And so yet again, of my egoic self, I realize I can take a breath. I can relax. I can relinquish the need to force, push, engineer, make happen, control. I can relinquish the need to control, and I can instead become a better, more available vessel to that life principle that knows how to do life. What good news is that? So I commit to step back into my earthly life as its humble and grateful representative. And we close this time together as we always do with sung words of blessing and farewell.
May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on.
If I haven't been clear, I quite love you. I want you to know that. The challenge before you is to put this